Hey lovelies, I am Lady Spears and you're welcome to Spears FC. If this is your first time of coming across the channel, we do majorly sewing tutorial here and you're most welcome. And so guys, today's tutorial is going to be all about this shirt dress. It has a long sleeve with cuffs and also it has side pockets and also it has a neck collar. And so guys, if you're ready, please do well to subscribe, like. If you have any question as we go by and suggestions, please do well to drop it in the comment section. And if you're ready guys, let's just get into the video. So to make a shirt dress using a freehand method, fold the fabrics into 4. So when folding, you can fold rightly by considering the widest part of the body. For this is the hips. Divide the hips by 4, then add 3 inches. So having gotten the measurement, you can use that to fold it rightly. And also consider leaving about 3 inches allowance for the shirt button rack, which is going to be in the front. So after doing that, the next thing to do is to place the shoulder measurement. The shoulder measurement divided by 4 is 7. The armhole circumference plus its allowance is also 7. The half length is 15 inches from the starting point. The hips line is 8 to 10 inches away from the half length. The full length of the shirt is 39 inches plus 2 inches allowance. So we'll rule out 41 inches. The shirt line is also 5 inches from the starting point. So having ruled out all the horizontal measurements, divide the bust measurement by 4. For this is 9 inches. Then we'll add 1 inches allowance and we go ahead to connect the armhole curve for the back first. Then having separated the front from the back, we can manipulate the front armhole. The waist measurement divided by 4 is 7 inches. We'll be adding 2 inches allowance to the waist. So when making a shirt dress, please consider to make your measurement very free and also add enough allowance just to allow easiness around it. And also considering the fact that there will be side pocket around the waistline, we added 2 inches allowance to that to make it very easy. The hips measurement divided by 4 is 10. We'll be adding 2.5 inches allowance to the hips. And also at the hem, we'll be considering the same measurement we have at the hips line, which is 12.5, also at the hem. And having done this, we'll just go ahead and connect all the points together all the way to the armhole. So since we have folded our fabrics into 4, which means we are cutting both the front and the back together, we are placing the measurement together. The neck width for both the front and the back is going to be 3 inches, and for the back, the neck depth for the back is going to be 1 inches. We are going to go ahead and connect it in a circular form. And while for the front neck depth, we'll be considering a neck depth of about 3 inches, and that is for a standard outdoor shirt. So use about 3 inches, though it can vary depending on the kind of stature and thickness the person has. So just to confirm if the neck circumference is equivalent with what we have marked out, you can just use your tape rule to measure round. So first we go by measuring round the front, then after measuring the front, so for the front we have about 5 inches. You subtract half inches for the seam allowance, that is going to be giving us about 4.5, and unfold into 2, that will be about 9 inches. So you can just go ahead and write that down somewhere. Then we go ahead to measure the back. For the back, we have about 3.5 inches. We subtract half inches for the seam allowance. Then we have 3. Unfold, that will give us about 6 inches. So the next circumference I'm working with is 15. Then we had 9 plus 6. That is going to give us 15 inches. So that means that this measurement we have marked out is accurate. So should in case you measure yours and is not up to the measurement, you can just go ahead and increase the neck depth, maybe for the front and also for the back. So just manipulate the neck depth for both the front and the back until you get the exact neck circumference that you want to work with. So remember that I just marked the front circumference on the back. The front is the exact one that is having that 3 inches allowance for the button rack. So for us to do that, I'm just going to tilt out the neckline for the front, and that is because by the time we want to fold in the button rack, it is not going to slip inward. So just tilt it outward. Then having done this, we'll go ahead to connect our shoulder slope. We go down by half inches. We connect the shoulder slope. Then having done this, we are going to be cutting the back first, just like the way it's appearing by the camera. So having cut out the back, we are just going to transfer the neck circumference in which we have marked on the back block on the main front block. So we'll connect the circumference of the neckline just like the rays appearing by the camera. Then we go ahead and cut out the neck. And also for the front, remember that the back chest line is more wider than the front, so I'm just going to go ahead and mark the accurate measurement for the chest line for the front. So for this is about 6 inches. We'll be adding half inches seam, so we'll be marking out 6.5 inches. We go ahead to connect the cuff, the armhole for the front well, then we go ahead to cut out the armhole for the front perfectly. We go next by marking where the pocket will be sitting on the dress. So we are going to be going down with about half inches from the half length. So for this is going to be about 15.5 inches. And also after marking out the 15.5 inches, we are going to mark, we'll go down by 7 inches, and that is going to be for the pocket opening. We'll mark out the 7 inches. Then having done that, we'll just go ahead and place lunges on these two places. So with this, we are done cutting both the front and the back of the shirt. And for the front, I'm just going to go to the pressing table and I'm going to fold it just like the rays appearing by the camera, and I'm going to be using an hemming gum to hold it down. So that is how the front is going to be. So the next thing for us to cut now is the collar. So for the collar, we'll rule a starting point for us to drop the pattern. So remember that the back neckline circumference is 6 divided by 2, that is 3 inches. So we'll rule out 3 inches vertically first. Then for the center front, we had 9 inches. Then we'll divide it by 2 minus the seam allowance, remember. So divide it by 2, that is about 4.5 inches. Then unfold, that will give us a total of 15 inches. So having ruled out the back and the front, we'll be drafting a single collar, which means that both the collar and the collar stand are going to be together. At the back, from the starting line, go upward with about half inches, or better still, just make it about 1 cm, then rule it out. At the center front, we get the midpoint from the middle of both of them. Then having done that, go ahead to label it. So we go ahead to connect these 3 points together just like the rays appearing by the camera. So this is just going to allow us to be able to cuff out the front. Remember that the front is a very deep cuff. The next thing for us to mark out is the collar stand width. For this, we'll be considering about 1 inches, then add 1 cm for the seam. So we'll mark 1 inches and 1 cm. Then having done that, we connect it together and label it. From the front, go inward by 1 inches. That will be for the button rack at the neck. Then mark the desired width of the collar. So for this, we'll be considering about 2.5 inches plus the seam allowance. We'll mark 2.5 inches all round, and from that point I will just go inward by 1 inches. You can just make your own half so as not to make it too slanted. Then connect it slantly back to the center front, and also at the button rack we'll add about 1 cm seam to join into the second collar. So we'll go ahead and cut it out, and we'll be cutting 2 pieces for it, and we'll be using one to turn the other. That is for the collar and the collar stand. So we'll just place the pattern on the fabric to cut it out, and the back is going to be on a fold just like the rays appearing by the camera, and we'll be cutting 2 pieces for it. And so after cutting both of them, we'll go ahead to add a collar stay. If you have a collar stay, you can use a collar stay, but I used a paper stay. I think the one that is more durable, yeah. So I used that one in place of a collar stay. I'll be adding this to both panel of the collar stand. I'll be using one to turn the other one. So the next thing I have to be explaining now is how to make the long sleeve with cuff, but the video is not in this. I had a properly made video for that separately, and it's the previous video before this one, so you can just do well to check it. It's already in the channel. So I made it very detailed and step by step, the cutting, the stitching, the pattern drafting of the long sleeve with the cuff, the placket and the back dart, everything. So just do well to check it in the channel, and thank you so much for understanding, guys. So the last thing for us to cut out is the pocket, and for the pocket we'll be cutting out 2. So I'll firstly fold the fabrics into 2 just like this. Then for the length of the pocket we'll be considering a length of about 13 inches, and for the width we'll be using the width of 7 inches. We'll cut this out first, then I'll place it on the second fabric to cut out the second pocket. So the pocket opening is 7 inches in which we mark on the main fabrics. We are going to be adding 1 inches allowance to it, so we are going to be marking 8 inches on the pocket. Then we go ahead to draw out the pocket curve. Then having done that, starting from the center front at the back, we'll just go downward with about 1 inches. Then we curve it back to the pocket opening just like the way it's appearing by the camera. Then we go ahead and cut it out. So I've already gone ahead to use an hemming gun to hold down the button rack for both sides of the front panel of the shirt, and also for the collar I've also added the stay. And also at the front, after folding the front, we just go ahead and trim out the excess on it, so it's better for it to be in excess than it pulling inward. So we'll just trim out both sides of the front, and the next thing for us to do is to go and stitch them down. So for the sewing, we'll make the front side of the front face the front side of the back. Then we are going to align them at the shoulder line. Then we are going to be joining the shoulder of both sides together using about 1 cm or half inches. So we'll just go ahead and join the shoulder together. Then having done that, we'll just make the button rack kind of aligned together at the center front. Then having done that, we'll go ahead and use just about half inches to join the side seams together. So the remaining part of the allowance in which we left for it is just going to be for easiness for the shirt. So while stitching both panels together, when getting to the pocket opening, we will not be stitching down the pocket opening, so we'll just go ahead and omit that side. Then we'll continue the sewing. We'll make a reverse stitch so that it does not tear up. Then we'll stitch it down all the way to the hem, and repeat the same process also for the other side. Next thing for us to work on now is the collar. So we'll take the collar, and starting from the center, that is the center back, we'll go ahead and measure 7.5 inches on across both left and right. So for this, it's going to be the exact neck circumference, which is the total of about 15 inches. Then having done that, we're going to be going upward with about 1 cm, just like the way it's appearing by the camera. We'll mark 1 cm on both sides. So this remaining 1 cm is not going to be stitched down. It's the part in which we are going to be attaching the collar to the main fabrics. So having done that, we'll just go ahead and stitch the collar all around, just like the way it's appearing by the camera. So having joined both panels of the collar together as seen, we'll go next by placing launches on it. So just to make it relax very well, so do well to place launches on it, and also at the angle we also place launches on it, very important. Then having done that, we'll go ahead to turn it to the right side. So we go next by taking the main fabrics, the main bodies of the front and the back of the shirt. Then we'll go ahead to measure the neck circumference just to confirm if the neck circumference is still intact. But should in case you measure yours and you discover that maybe it's wider, you can do well to hold it by the shoulder. And if it seems as if it's kind of a little bit shorter than it, you can just trim out a little. So for this is perfect. And the next thing for us to do is just to stitch the collar to it. So we are going to be stitching the collar to it using just the 1 cm in which we left. So we are going to take one panel of the collar first. We won't be holding the two. Then we'll go ahead to stitch it all round to the neck, ensuring that the center back is also at the center back for both the collar and the main fabrics. So we'll stitch it all around just like the way it's appearing by the camera. Then having done that, the next thing to do, we'll take the second piece of the collar in which we have not stitched down. Then we'll just go ahead and fold the 1 cm in which we also used to stitch the first one. We'll fold it inward. Then we'll go ahead and run a direct stitch across it. So just take your time to make sure that it's properly aligned. Then just stitch it across it just like the way it's appearing by the camera. So I'm just going to use my hand to fold the collar on the collar stand like the way it's appearing. I'm going to use an office pin to hold it together. Then I will go to the pressing table to give it a nice press afterwards. The next thing to work on is the pocket. So for the pocket, we'll take it and we're going to use a French seam to stitch the hem. So we'll just make the right side appear as well. We'll stitch it without getting to the major one in which we are going to stitch the main fabrics. Then after doing that, we'll turn it to the outside. they are going to top stitch it. And so just like the way it's appearing by the camera, we'll go afterwards to stitch the pocket with the main fabric. So just that place in which we have launched out, we are going to be stitching the pocket across it, just like the way it's appearing by the camera. Then having stitched it together, we are going to go ahead and take the stitching and make it enter into the main bodice of the dress. So the same thing we did for the first pocket, we'll go ahead and repeat it also for the second pocket. The next thing to do now is to fit the sleeve, and for the sleeve, place a lunge at the center of the sleeve. Then using the lunge as a guide, we'll go ahead and stitch the sleeve to the armhole using just about 1 cm. So like I said from the beginning, the tutorial for how to sew this the sleeve is already in the channel. Please do well to do that. And having done that, just go ahead and attach the sleeve to the armhole. So gradually we are coming to the end of the tutorial. I've gone ahead to iron the collar very well, and I also did well to iron the shirt generally. So the next thing we are going to be marking is where the buttonhole is going to be sitting. As for the neck stand, it's going to be having 1 buttonhole, and starting from there, we'll go ahead to mark 3.5 inches downward. So we'll be marking 3.5 inches respectively. We keep measuring until we get to about 10 inches before the hem. So 10 inches before the hem, there will be the last buttonhole there. So we have to leave about 2 inches for the hemming allowance for the shirt, and also the remaining 8 inches is going to allow the leg to be able to move freely while wearing the shirt. So having done this, we'll go to the sewing machine and make reverse stitch. So for the collar stand, the stitch for the buttonhole is going to be a slant. Then having done that, for the rest, it's going to be like a straight line, just like the way it's appearing by the camera. So we'll go ahead to do that until we get to the last buttonhole for the shirt. So having made the buttonhole and open it up, the last thing to do is to go ahead and tack the button. So while tacking the button, ensure that you leave about ½ inches at the center front so that it can overlap each other without opening up at the front. So having done this, we just go ahead to fold in the 2 inches hem we left for the dress. And so guys, this is how the shirt dress look like when we are done. You can see that it came out so perfectly nice. Thank you so much for watching. I believe that you have learned 1 or 2 things from this tutorial. Please guys, do well to subscribe, like. If you have any question or suggestion, you can drop it in the comment section, and I'll see you guys in my next video.